Before I start, I need to make 3 important clarifications. The footage you'll be seeing was taken on the 5th of September, around 6 to 7 PM, and the 6th at around 4 to 4:30 PM. 2. I do not enjoy ranked. I may have a decent few ranked points for the beginning of the season, but ranked was and never will be my main game mode. 3. A lot of my points in this video are going to be made on an overall standpoint. I won't be talking on behalf of Australia or anything like that unless it's actually important. I don't think ranked really needs an introduction, but for the sake of it, ranked is a sub-game mode where hopes and dreams go to die, a place blooming with toxicity and characters stretched to their absolute thinnest, a mode that some will regard as the heart and soul of ABA, and to that I say, yeah, ranked definitely contributes to the game's player count. But if it wasn't clear by the 3 clarifications at the start of the video, this isn't a video about me using a character in ranked. Instead, we're gonna go over ranked current status right now and how it's arguably at its worst right now. So, what's the deal? The deal is that ranked has a queue system. You join, pick a region, hop into a mode, and wait. You get your match and battle to the death against your opponent. Now here's where the problems begin. The queue system. How the system should work is that, let's say you are a European fellow. You click Europe, so you should expect to get put against people who are also queuing Europe. Except, what's this? My ping is in the billions, and my opponent isn't lagging? What gives? The queue system is more in line with a suggestion system. Instead of it telling the server or game or whatever, okay, Guy 1 is queuing Asia. Searching for a Guy 2 queuing Asia. It's more like, alrighty, Guy 1 is queuing Asia. Maybe I'll find an Asian dude around here. Yo, wait, how about American Dave over here? He's looking for a match too. Let's go with him. Now evidently regions exist and time zones exist. If your argument devolves with this point, I think it's safe to say you're too young to be watching YouTube. I played at hours where the majority of the Asian population would be awake. Now mind you, Asia makes up a massive part of Roblox's community, and if that's the case, how on earth did I end up queuing Asia and not getting a singular Asian host? The only players I fought abroad in Asia were always my host. You know, Australia. I'm not seeing Australia here. So what gives? And you might have noticed this list but can't really decipher it. The first region mentioned was the host, whereas the second region was the victim. I am evidently AU, and the rest were people unfortunate enough to be put into the sample. No hate unless you're a loser. Regions and time zones shouldn't be an argument unless you are playing at hours where your region would evidently be asleep. But I played on an afternoon, on a weekend mind you, and couldn't get a single Asia host despite queuing for Asia. And yes, I am aware it's the luck of the draw on who joins first, but that doesn't change a fact you'll hear later on in the video. Now it's rather rich. Why am I complaining about not getting a region that isn't mine? Well, firstly, for whatever reason I get decent ping in Singaporean servers, so because I'm not win hungry, I'd genuinely like to have opponents that can also play the game and actually be able to fight back, instead of people who abandon all hope because there is none to begin with. And secondly, and this is the more objective point, I'm queuing Asia. Why am I getting every region except Asia? I don't know whether it's impressive or shockingly embarrassing how this queue system was implemented. Could you imagine the catastrophe if this were the case for US players? Which it kinda is. Imagine queuing US 10 times in a row, and only 4 of your matches were actually played in the US. I fought a few people that were either somewhere in Europe or America, and have been told to get out of their region, or were met with their justifiable confusion and or misery. I once got called a sped because this guy thought I was queuing Europe. Maybe I'm just a bit humane and should be grateful I can seize the opportunity for free ranked points, but that comes at the cost of ignoring a problem that's been affecting everyone. No matter where you live in the world, you will always run that risk of being put in a region that you did not queue for. And before people mention, and this is just for insurance in case I'm repeating myself, well, judging by your list, you actually did queue up against players living in the Asian region. You may have also noticed that they were not the host, and also may have noticed that out of the entire list, only 1 was definitive. The rest I couldn't discern because they quit before the match even began. That is a fucking problem. Another quick thing to address. To be fair, wouldn't other Roblox games suffer this issue? And honestly, you've got me there. I can't respond because I don't play other competitive anime fighting games because I unironically don't like fighting games. So I'm sure someone in the comments can help me out here. However, something I can say with full confidence, we had a better system. Not a perfect system, but it was simple, it was to the point, and it made people happy. Ready? Bam. You have 4 servers USA, Evil USA, Europe, and Asia. It was very simplistic, and because of its simplicity, it could have easily been expanded upon to be that little bit more in depth to give us the ranked functionality we'd have wanted. Say you join Europe, then you can choose which state or region you'd heavily prefer, whether it's, I don't know, Britain, France, Italy, you name it. And it easily could have had an expanded country list to account for the more potentially niche areas such as South America, Russia, Africa, you name it. I'm not sure what went wrong with this system to give us the system we formerly had, but I genuinely believe, even with the natural hardships of Roblox servers being the most infuriating things on earth, this was still the better system in almost every way. And once again on a YouTube post, I asked you guys your guys' opinion on ranked, except I didn't say I'd show the comments, so for privacy's sake, I won't, unless you sort out the post yourself. The general consensus from the responses I got were, the new change to the region list was unnecessary, the likelihood of people getting fair matches is unbearably random and has quite literally proven to be a worse system. Some people on the post state they can't even get their own servers. I would mention lag, but this could be for a multitude of reasons I don't want to dive into. But the general point is, everyone is affected. Some not so much. But it doesn't change the point of this video. What's the point of keeping a competitive side of the game going if you don't show interest in it? And it's ironic I'm even saying that because without the competitive side of ABA, some, if not majority of the characters that receive their balancing to bring them down into a more tame line of power would have not been balanced like they are today, for better or for worse. You can tell me ABA is a competitive game all you want, but at its core, ranked is a sub-game mode, and public servers are the main selling point of the game. But this is no reason for ranked to be ruined like this. Why do you think genuine fighting games attract so many casuals yet have competitive scenes? You can have both parties coexist in their own spaces and people will be happy. But now, if you are unfortunate enough to be the person that can barely get a fair match and doesn't enjoy public servers, I guess you're far out of luck here. Please give us back the old system but tuned up. As much of a mess ABA's player base can be, they don't deserve this garbage, not in the slightest bit. But anyways, subscribe, comment your thoughts on ranked or something funny, content, blah blah blah, and yeah.